This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WMDX Daily News Roundup for Mad Radio 92.7 FM and 1580 AM in Madison.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. The Wisconsin housing market is getting less and less affordable. According to the Wisconsin Association of Realtors, increasing home values, higher mortgage rates, and stagnant incomes have made it tougher for people to pay for their home. Median home prices rose almost 9% across Wisconsin last year. The average home price statewide is now $310,000. Meanwhile, here in Madison, the median home price has been about $430,000 for a while now. Inventory is still low, keeping demand high. According to Redfin, the Midwest is the most affordable region of the country, but now we also have the fastest growing prices. Meanwhile, a new report shows Madison's housing supply has grown. Our housing inventory has gone up 37% since 2005. The analysis from Storage Cafe shows Madison has more than 138,000 units of housing. Now, if you think that means it should be getting more affordable, think again, because our population is still growing faster than our inventory. Dane County officials estimate the county needs 1,700 new units of affordable housing every year for the next 15 years to keep up with demand. And DeForest was tapped to get Wisconsin's first Buc-ee's, a Texas chain of convenience stores as beloved there as our native Quick Trip is here. It was supposed to be along the interstate near County Highway I, but the plan hit a snag. Buc-ee's asked the village to share the cost of improvements to the roads surrounding where that new location would go. The stores are so popular, it's believed the current infrastructure couldn't handle the traffic. Now, the DeForest Village Board plans to ask state officials for help with that funding. Meanwhile, Buc-ee's staff had hoped to break ground in 2024 and open this year, but with the issue still up in the air, they haven't started the project yet. Meanwhile, they've announced a new Wisconsin location. They plan to add one in Oak Creek, also off the interstate. Here's Stuart J. Waddles.
The proposed 74,000 square foot convenience store and fueling station would be located on the southwest corner of I-94 and Elm Road. The project, featuring 120 gas pumps and EV charging stations, faces two public hearings before a potential March vote. It could open in early 2027 if approved.
So now it remains to be seen which city will have the first Buc-ee's in Wisconsin. Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul has announced the state will join 17 others in defending an Environmental Protection Agency rule that targets PFAS. All these states will be filing a brief with the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit, arguing that upholding this PFAS rule would significantly improve public health. PFAS contamination has been linked to a number of negative health effects, like various types of cancer and ulcerative colitis. The so-called forever chemicals come from firefighting foam and nonstick coatings and can get into the soil and the water. Once they're in the human body, they can't be removed. They just build up over time. Addressing PFAS contamination has been a major goal for officials here in the Badger State. And more than 80 snowy owls were spotted in Wisconsin last year. That's more than the previous 2 winters combined. Here's Brittany Merlot.
Many of them are immature birds that dispersed from Arctic Canada after hatching last summer. These young owls are less skilled, less wary, and more likely to show up in unexpected places, like residential neighborhoods, urban open spaces, and even busy roadsides. While they're exciting to see, try to help these beautiful birds survive. Never approach them too closely. You're too close if the bird responds to your presence in any way, like frequently looking at you, sitting erect with eyes open in your direction, or flying from its perch. And turn off your car engine. Use a quiet voice and do not play audio.
I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
The Chiefs beat the Bills. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs held on to beat the Bills 32-29. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes on having the chance to be the first team to win 3 Super Bowls in a row.
It's just so hard to get to the Super Bowl, and I don't take it for granted. And to be able to do it again at Arrowhead was special. I mean, last year it was awesome. You get there and you win it, but you're at a different stadium. And then being able to win it at Arrowhead, these moments that I'll have for the rest of my life.
Bills quarterback Josh Allen now being 0-4 in the postseason against Kansas City.
It's not fun. But to beat the champs, you gotta to be the champs, you gotta beat the champs, and we didn't do it tonight.
The Chiefs will face the Eagles on Sunday, February 9th in Super Bowl 59. College basketball, the Wisconsin Badgers beating Nebraska 83-55. Nebraska has now lost 6 in a row. NBA, the Bucks are in Salt Lake City tonight to take on the Utah Jazz inside the Delta Center. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Author Stephen King has provided a wealth of material to Hollywood filmmakers. One of his titles, 1987's The Running Man, was turned into a successful film decades ago and is now getting a remake. It's currently in production and stars Glenn Powell, Michael Cera, and Josh Brolin. Helming the project is director Edgar Wright, whose previous credits include Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. Fun fact, King initially published The Running Man under the name Richard Bowman. The story was originally set way in the future, 2025. Oh dear. The Grammys are right around the corner, and the producers of the show are putting on the finishing touches for the broadcast. Variety reports that the performers will include Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, and Charlie XCX. Trevor Noah is back to host the show, which has announced that some of the proceeds from the broadcast will go to those who lost their homes in the LA fires. The Grammys air February 2nd on CBS. If you're looking for a new hobby that requires almost absolutely no activity, consider Hurkle-Durkling. It's a centuries-old Scottish tradition. Hurkle-Durkling translates to the art of lazing in bed. The practice encourages people to stay in their pajamas and not get up. Most of us consider this being lazy or depressed, but if you use the phrase Hurkle-Durkle, it makes it sound more clinical. Still probably not an acceptable excuse for being late to work. Now, hotels are encouraging people to take a Hurkle-Durkle stay. Yes, by all means, go spend a few $100 a night to stay in bed and not do anything. Money well spent. Amy Schumer says she might actually be canceled after admitting to hooking up with a fan. She talked about the experience on the Call Her Daddy podcast, saying that a professional baseball player who was a huge fan visited her for a rendezvous in her hotel room one night. She goes into more detail on the podcast. Let's just say they did more than Hurkle-Durkle. Schumer's new comedy special, Kind of Pregnant, drops February 5th on Netflix. Really good actors are supposed to be fearless. Leonardo DiCaprio is typically one of them. That was not the case, though, on the set of Django Unchained. During a recent interview with Vanity Fair, Jamie Foxx recalled DiCaprio, who played a ruthless slave owner, had trouble saying words that were racial slurs, even though he was in character. According to Fox, Samuel Jackson put DiCaprio at ease, saying, like only Samuel Jackson can, "You can say that, mother." DiCaprio got the point. If you've got $150 million burning a hole in your pocket, consider purchasing Tom Brady's house. The amazing quarterback and mediocre commentator is selling his mansion in Miami. Don't worry, renovations are done, and they must have been doozies because he purchased the home in 2024 for 17 million smackers. Not many people pocket 133 mil on a sale. Anyone interested in pretending to be filthy rich and taking a tour? I'm in. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Increasing clouds and breezy today, maybe an afternoon sprinkle or flurry and a high in the low 40s. Partly cloudy and a low in the low 20s tonight. More sunshine for tomorrow, breezy and highs in the mid-40s. Mild and dry for the rest of the week. Right now it's 20.
That's your WMDX Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at mad.radio. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.